Hello everyone, this is Sir Brian Cordova and welcome back to another calculus class, and our topic for today is the chain rule or the derivative of composite functions. So the derivative of a composite function, so if function f of u is differentiable at point u is equal to g of x and that function g of x is differentiable at x, then the composite function f of g of x is equivalent to f of g of x is differentiable at x also, and f of g prime of x is equal to f prime of g of x times g prime of x. Or in short, the derivative of the composite function is equivalent to the derivative of function f evaluated from g of x times the derivative of the function g. Or if y is equal to f of u and u is equal to g of x, then derivative of y, so yung y is the function f, so the derivative of y in terms of x is equal to derivative of y in terms of u times the derivative of u in terms of x, where dy over du is evaluated at point u is equal to g of x. So in other notation, we have the derivative of the function of u is equal to f prime of u, or the derivative of the function f, times the derivative of u in terms of x. For illustration, so example, if we have gears, so a chain reaction, kaya tinawag na chain rule, let's have a gear A and gear B, gear C. So, ang bilang ng ikot ng gear A ay Y, so Y turns. So, yung dami ng ikot ng gear A na nagagawa niya is Y. And yung gear B ay, number of turns niya ay U. And yung gear C ay X turns. So, comparing the circumference or the number of teeth ng bawat gear. So, ang number of teeth ng gear A is 10. The number of teeth ng gear B is 20. And the number of teeth ng gear C is 15. So, Y is equal to 2U. Meaning, A turns twice the number of turn ng B. So, mas mabilis yung ikot ng gear A. So, nakakaikot na siya ng dalawa bago pa makaikot yung gear B, because mas maliit yung circumference nito or mas maliit yung bilang ng teeth, mas marami siyang kailangang iikot kumpara sa gear B. And U is equal to 3/4 of X, or meaning yung B naman ay 3/4 lang yung ikot kapag umikot yung C ng buo. So because of this ratio, so yung 15 over 20 is 3/4. So, yung y in terms of x is 3/2. So, we have 15 over 10. So, yung ratio for C compared to A. So, y is equal to 3/2 x. According to the definition of the derivative, so dy over dx is equal to 3/2. So, the derivative of y in terms of x is 3/2 lang. So, yung constant multiple is equal to 2 times 3/4, which is yung 2 is the derivative of y in terms of u, and yung 3/4 is the derivative of u in terms of x. So examples ng chain rule. So given function y is equal to 3x squared plus 1 quantity squared. So ang solution natin, let the function f of u is equal to u squared. So yung u natin is yung inner function and yung f is square of this function, and yung u is yung nasa loob, 3x squared plus 1. So the derivative of y in terms of u is 2u because of this, and the derivative of u in terms of x, so this one is 0. So we have 2 times 3 is 6, and x raised to 2 minus 1 is 1, so 6x na lang. So if we multiply this 2, we have dy over du times du over dx is equal to 2u times 6x. And substitute the values of u, we have 2 times 3x squared plus 1 times 6x. So the derivative of y over dx is equal to 36x cubed plus 12x. So distributing 2 tsaka yung 6x dun sa binomial. Alternate solution, pwede nating expand yung square ng binomial. So we have 9x to the 4th plus 6x squared plus 1. So the derivative of y in terms of x is derivative of this function. So we have 4 times 9 is 36. So 4 minus 1 is 3. Then 2 times 6 is 12. So 2 minus 1 is 1. And the derivative of a constant is 0. So we have the same result. Another example, let's have a word problem. An object moves along the x-axis so that its position at any time t greater than or equal to 0, so positive yung time, is given by the function of time along the x-axis yun. Kaya ang function natin is x. So the x of t is equal to cosine of t squared plus 1. Find the velocity of the object as a function of t. So yung function na to is actually distance lamang. So let the velocity is equal to derivative of this function. So because velocity is distance over time. So in terms of time, we have the derivative of the function x of t. So let's have x is equal to cosine u. So the function x is equal to cosine ng u, which is u is equal to t squared plus 1. So the derivative of x in terms of u is negative sine of u. And derivative of u in terms of t is equal to 2t. So ito ay 0. So by chain rule, we have dx over dt. So dx over du times du over dt, which is equal to negative sine u times 2t. So we have negative sine of t squared plus 1 times 2t. So yun natin mas simpleng factors. So negative 2t sine of t squared plus 1. So this is the function for the velocity of the object. Example, repeated use of chain rule. So repeated use, so pwede nating ulit-ulitin yung paggamit ng chain rule depende sa given function. So find the derivative of g of t, so given function g of t, which is equal to tangent of 5 minus sine 2t. So solution, notice that the tangent is a function of 5 minus sine 2t. So function siya nito. And whereas yung sine is a function of 2t, which is itself is a function of t. So function within a function within a function. Okay? So g prime of t is equal to the derivative of tangent of 5 minus sine 2t, which is equivalent to secant squared of 5 minus sine 2t times the derivative of yung inner function niya, which is 5 sine 2t. This is the derivative of tangent u, with u is equal to 5 minus sine 2t. Then, copying this times derivative ng 5 is 0, and derivative of sine is cosine 2t. Then, yung 2t is a function of t, so derivative of 2t in terms of t. Okay? So, derivative of 5 minus sine u, which is yung u natin is 2t, so ito siya. So, we have, copy lang natin yung first factor, so 0, negative cosine 2t, and the derivative of 2t is constant 2. So, kagaya ng ginawa natin kanina, iuna natin yung sign na negative and much simpler na factor. We have negative 2 cosine 2t secant of 5 minus sine 2t. We also have a power chain rule. So, pinagsama yung power rule at saka chain rule. So we have the derivative of u raised to n, so u is a function, is equal to n times u raised to n minus 1, which is the power rule itself, times the derivative of u in terms of x, which is from the chain rule. So since function yung u and not a variable lang. Okay, example. So the derivative of 5x cubed minus x raised to 4, quantity raised to 7. So, eto mahirap nang i-expand unlike sa square at saka cube. So, we need to use the power rule. So, following the rules ng power chain rule, so yung n is 7, so we have 7. And yung u is 5x cubed minus x to the 4th raised to 7 minus 1, which will become 6. So, n minus 1 is 6 times the derivative of u, which is yung inner function, which is 5x cubed minus x to the 4th. Okay? So, copy yung unang nakuha nating factor. And the derivative of this difference is 3 times 5 is 15, x squared na lang yun, minus x to the fourth, the derivative is 4x cubed na lang. So that is our final answer. So hindi na natin expand yung power of 6. Number 2, the derivative of 1 over 3x minus 2. So pwede natin kunin yung quotient rule, or we can use the power chain rule by changing the expression into a power. So yung denominator can be put as a numerator with a negative exponent. Following the chain rule, so we have negative 1 times 3x minus 2 raised to negative 1 minus 1 is negative 2 times the derivative of the inner function 3x minus 2. So the derivative of 3x minus 2 is 3 only. Now, pwede nating ibaba yung may negative exponent uli as a denominator. So we have negative 3 over 3x minus 2 raised to positive na yung power, positive 2. And number 3, we have the derivative of sine to the fifth of x. So this is equivalent to derivative of sine x quantity raised to 5. Okay? So we have 5 sine x raised to 4 na lang. So 5 minus 1 is 4 times the derivative of sine x itself. So derivative of sine x is cosine x. So we have 5 sine to the fourth x cosine x.